Hey, we're back. So, when we just left off, Marquette was up 2 on Icebox. And since then, there were 3 rounds that played out before we got the match paused, and DePaul won all of them. So we are now sitting 3-2. We're going to be coming back into a very different landscape, Ashcon.
We're gonna, oh, yes. So we're gonna go ahead and transition right on into the match. We're going to see the timer run down. We did pause in a bye phase, so we're gonna be good to go. And time ticking away. When you take a look at the scoreboard and the state of the economy, it's going to be a very
Oh,
different one that we left off on. Exactly as you say. We paused the match.
DePaul still has won the bathroom.
Oh no,
So
both teams.
they're still not R yet, and the looks like the barriers have actually. Okay, we're gonna roll back 1 round here. That is a new feature in these in tournament mode, which is crazy that it took them almost 2 years to add.
My
But now
ultimate
we
is
have the
ready. My
ability to.
ultimate
We
is
rolled it
ready.
back for now here at the start of the round here. We're all good.
Well, for Riot's credit, I mean, they have one of the largest esport, I want to say, in League of Legends, and they've been doing a really great job of kind of picking up where Valve has kind of left off in consistent updates with their games and kind of aiding the observers with the features that they implement for them. And of course, the round rollback, of course, maybe could have been implemented earlier, but that is the fact that we finally have it within 2 years, and then in addition, they've already stated that they're going to give us the replay feature soon enough as well. I got to give the devs credit. Riot Games is they know their esports scene well, and they're not slacking. That's to be sure.
As a caster, I just want to be able to draw on the minimap. That's my favorite feature in CS:GO, and the fact that I can't do that as an observer, it hurts. But I love drawing on the minimap, waiting for that to come into Valorant. But anyway, we're now coming back in here, and we are going to be seeing a full buy from both teams.
It is round 6 now. Everyone's back on the board. Crotify with that signature mid smoke is going to cut the line of sight, meaning that there's not going to be a whole lot of post plan action for Marquette. You have to have the orb on the spike if you want to do enough damage to kill someone who's diffusing. Speaking of killing someone, Blades is going to lop off the body of Ghosty, and that's going to put him into the ground, meaning A side is just that much more open, and with only Arena on site, 2 blinds aren't going to stop the onslaught.
There's Min just right behind the corner. Fortunately, wait, the Leer popped in the wrong direction, and both Leers ended up going to waste. That's so unfortunate. Nisei is going to be using the Hunter's Fury to take out Crotify, and it is now down to the 4v4 with Marquette standing quite tall right now, even though Min has just picked up a quick frag there. Now we see DePaul taking control over where the spike is. They should be able to get a defuse started here. Nisei is going to be starting that here as Min continues to frag out. But now with that Viper smoke here, Nisei sticks it and it's going to work out. DePaul brings us now 4-2. Again, Ashcon, this is a completely different landscape than we left off with before our producer's power cut out.
Yeah, 4 rounds in a row and utilizing an ultimate to maintain this streak and then propelling them forward. Look at the way Blades is kind of stuck on a Spectre. They're 2 away from the showstopper. There's not a whole lot that they can leverage their way to ensure an entry. And as the sole duelist, it's going to be a huge struggle for them. Yeah, they got flashbangs and they might be able to reveal someone with the owl drone. The refrag is likely not coming if they go too far, which is a staple of mobility agents, the Razes, the Jets, and even the Neons, who we haven't quite seen make her way into competitive play, but will be definitely soon enough. Now, Nisei is gathering some information mid, understands that Crotify has presence. That means, that hints to the presence of Kitchen, where you see 2 of DePaul posted up, and that's going to be Crotify croaking right outside of the 2.
Marquette drops a second, but not before they're able to pick up one of their own. A good trade there from the Sobas. Dog trying to even the odds even more here. What I might say is the best skin in the game here. Ghosty unfortunately misses that op shot. He's checking this out as it goes 4-3, and Marquette floods through to A site. They're going to have to deal with Min, though, standing tall as Reyna. One Lear could bring disaster. Not going to be able to pop that off, though, and Sago is going to get a res up on Nisei, which brings the fight back to DePaul, now with the one-man advantage swaying in their favor. Dog picks up one onto Ghosty, but Nisei picks up a 3K of their own accord. It is now down to this as Blades tries to stand on the spike. Gonna be popping off the showstopper, missing, unfortunately. Not going to be anyone coming in from that back door, but Sago and Jelly are right there, and Blades is stuck between literally just anything else but this. Stevo picks up one on Nisei, but now it's a 1v2, and Sago just cleans up shop. DePaul is looking stronger than ever here. Marquette is going to be suffering in this next fight.
I like Blades understanding that they got the showstopper recently and that they should implement it into the round. And by all means, I think there's no reason not to. The problem lies with how soon they pulled that trigger, right? They didn't have any information, and you got to understand that the fear of hearing the showstopper and knowing it's still in play is a much more valuable tool than the showstopper itself, especially in that kind of scenario where you're trying to run down the timer so the spike can explode. And so I think Blades, if they had just held on to the showstopper a bit longer, they would have found a lot more value and information as to the way DePaul was approaching for the retake. Well, regardless, Marquette still stuck on that second round, 2-5 score line. They're trying to even it up here on the attack. Icebox is traditionally attack sided, but they need to find the footing. They're getting onto the site, they're getting the plants down, but they're dropping the retake alongside initial agents. Crotify, the controller, once more in the ground.
You know, we saw Atsu on Yoru on Bind, and it was just such a beautiful thing to see. But now Atsu here playing Chamber, it's not nearly as hot. And I'm really, really curious as to whether or not this could be the round that he's able to do it. And here we go with that tour de force. He picks up one onto Nisei, and now Marquette is going to be able to make their way over to B site. Dago not in, not wasting any time, taking out Blades immediately and goes for, no, I thought they were going to go for the defuse here, but Stevo is going to say otherwise. They get the flash, they get the info that Min is there. 8 bullets in the chamber, not going to be able to get off more than 2 though before Min finishes the fight. And Ghosty with the op, still holding the sight line here. Atsu needs to bring this tour de force out now to challenge Ghosty's op, but will it land where it needs to? Just making sure to plan. But no, Ghosty able to pick up the kill before Atsu can even see. Ghosty going to be sticking it. Pros don't fake. Hits it to half. Picks up the op again. And it's going to be able to get the shot on the dog. But unfortunately, there's no time to defuse. Very unfortunate. But DePaul still walks away with an operator in hand.
I think that's definitely Valorant 101, and Atsu was just caught lacking, unaware of that angle. Icebox is not a commonly practiced map, and I mean, anecdotally, when you get into a death match, you tend to find that half the lobby disappears if it's on Icebox. So makes absolute sense that they're not familiar with the scenario, but Ghosty just that much more at the ready, trigger finger, ready to fire, and that's going to enable them to pick off the kill in an op versus operator battle. And maintaining it over on the A site proves a large threat to the entirety of Marquette. The initial flash is great for info, but it just doesn't provide quite enough as to where Ghosty is positioned exactly, although you can take a pretty solid guess. Blades is already up, and Min punished for trying to hold up on elbow instead of waiting behind Ghosty's operator.
Nisei getting the refrag and the double on the dog here. Stevo, though, taking out Ghosty. This is going to be an interesting match for sure. Blades popping that nade off, doing a little bit less than maybe was desired. Nisei brings us up to a 3K now using that Hunter's Fury, and Blades down to just 30 HP. We need to play within that Viper's Pit here, and there's a lot riding on this Viper's Pit right now. This 2v3 situation. Crotify has honestly set themselves up pretty well here, but unfortunately Sago just humongous galaxy brain Sage play right there. And with that, we see DePaul bring us up 6-3. Sage now has the res. What just happened with that round?
I like the implementation of the Viper's Pit, but I feel like we watched it while we watched the last Viper's Pit while the stream was down already, and I had a criticism of Marquette either don't have enough bodies to play in the Viper's Pit, or when they do, they're not playing in the Viper's Pit. Obviously, Crotify is sitting in there because that's the only way for the ultimate to be maintained, but otherwise, there's no crossfire angles or not enough people to hold them, and so it's really just it works against Crotify because they have no one watching their back and anyone can sneak up behind them. You have to constantly be flicking 180s if you want to get information on who's behind you in that kind of scenario. A lot of mid control here. The Viper's orb is still up. And I like that it's, you know, alongside bullets being sprayed behind it, makes DePaul have to check out what's going on. They're forced to be curious on the matter. That enables Atsu to move on up because there's a lack of reinforcement on the A site. It's just not happening every round. This time, though, when it is implemented, Crotify is rewarded, and that's going to be an agent up for Marquette. And we're going to see Min forced off of Heaven Raptors.
Atsu on that zipline headshot with the Sheriff. That was just beautiful to watch. Min going for the Empress form here to try to get this retake going, but Marquette is still going to be stuck with a one-man advantage here. Marquette has this locked down. Stevo with the Bulldog takes out Min, ending the Empress's reign. Atsu knows the Jelly's in front of him. Unfortunately, not going to be able to finish that fight just yet. Ghosty taking out Blades. This is just going not very well for Marquette here, even though it started so beautifully strong. Now we see DePaul picking up another lead here, picking up the op again. Oh, this is not going well for Marquette.
They can't find their foothold into these sites. I mean, if you look at the symbols on the round score, like I said, they're getting onto the site, they're getting the spike down, and they're just fumbling these post plants. And especially getting those 2 early frags, you should have, anyone would expect them to close out the round, and it's just these final fights that I want to say the post plant positioning is not optimized for. And despite having 2 post plant players, 2 post plant agents, Sova and Viper, that potential is completely lost again because the Viper orb is consistently being used mid. Now when it works, it works. Taking mid territory is great on Icebox, but when you need that line of sight cut, it's all the more essential, and definitely Marquette are feeling the effects of it. Nisei very early on drawing first blood and being refragged. It's a 4 for 4. Again, this is always in the favor of the attackers, but Marquette, that's not what they've been struggling with. It's just holding on to that spike explosion.
And holding on is kind of what Marquette has been just doing. They're holding on, but only barely. But it's working at least for this one. They're able to spread it out enough, and you know they don't take as much damage as they normally do, and they're able to actually survive with 4 players alive while they get the bomb down. And that hasn't really been what we're used to seeing from them. But as you see, as soon as Jelly gets on the site, it just gets a little bit more difficult. Atsu as well, only taking pot shots there, takes out Jelly through the wall. A good round for Marquette, but at what cost?
Round before the switch.
That is such a cheesy angle. For those of you who don't know how there was a line of sight, if you sit on top of the box 410, you can see everything coming towards you from the counter-terrorist spawn, or I should say the defender side spawn. And man, oh man, that has got to hurt. Atsu, you know, taking the free pot shots exactly as you said. And I want to say that good on Marquette for finally picking up their round, breaking the streak that was against them. They need to do exactly what they did, and that is finding the kills early on so they don't have to worry about the post plant, which is kind of what they're built for, right? With double initiators and rays, they're expected to kind of dump all of their utility to one side to find at least an early pick or 2, but instead it's going to be the opposite happening. Ghosty finding a pick onto the op shot. That's a duelist down. There's going to be no side entry, but Stevo is going to try to carry on the torch, and Min will fall.
See if Ghosty is going to be able to find one more, just holding these angles. Marquette on the back pedal right now. Oh no, Nisei and Dog fighting it out here, and Dog going down just 30 HP. Very unfortunate, but here we go, DePaul using that Sage res just in time, bring us back into a 5v2 situation here. Nisei does end up picking off the Viper, and that means that Marquette is now spread very thin. Dog all the way on B side when they get taken out. Stevo still trying to recover the spike. Not sure why Dog wasn't even helping out on that front here. All 5 members of DePaul will try to peek out at once. Stevo, unfortunately, does not win this 1v5.
Switching sides.
8-4 DePaul taking the lead, and now moving over to the attacking side. Icebox is traditionally in favor of this, and it looks like their meta composition is going to come in handy with the ability to just dash on and then Reyna Lear the entirety of site, especially over towards B. They have a lot more potential towards that direction than Marquette did, but that isn't to say Marquette is just going to lay down and lose these rounds back to back. They have so much potential to zone along Paint Shells and Viper's Snake Bites, and then they're going to have trademarks alongside to ensure that Kitchen isn't taken. They have everything they need to procure early information and then secure information on who is pushing in the mid-round, meaning that their retakes should be a lot smoother than their post plans went.
Absolutely, but here it's all up to Atsu right now with the Headhunter. If the Headhunter can't stop enough, then maybe it is going to be a little bit too late. But DePaul, all they got to do is get that Sage Wall. And there it is. Now they've got a free plant. And now Atsu and Crotify are blocked away, not able to fight or do anything at this moment in time until they can break that wall through. We've seen Atsu focusing on kind of the wrong angle here. Nisei does pick up the first kill, so Marquette will be down 1. We're watching Atsu and Crotify and Blades all getting ready to peek out yellow at the same time. Will that teamwork work? You see Atsu flicking into nothing right there, actually. Who is going to be taking this first kill here? Both teams are really just biding their time. Nobody wants to die. It's pistols. Come on. We got Dog, Ghosty, and Min all fragging out a little bit. Min picking up 2, possibly a 3 here. Sage is going to be coming through to pick up that 3rd for Min. Min got very low there. And, well, it's 9-4. DePaul picks up this first pistol round on attack. And now we're going to see them possibly go in for this force buy. Yes, we do see some Spectres. We do see some armors. Actually, Ghosty going for that light armor Vandal already. Oh, you'll love to see it while Marquette is on a full save.
So then, with Marquette on the back burner already, they're not going to have a lot of options because not buying guns usually always means that you can't buy utility as well. So the structure of their team composition is going to fall apart because they're not going to, with no Jet, they can't take any free early peaks. With no Reyna, they can't try to find a kill and dismiss to try and take a weapon out of the hands of DePaul. It's just not going to happen. And it's just an onslaught, essentially. And the wall to boot means that these pistols won't break through to even get Marquette near the spike to attempt to defuse, but that's A-okay. They're actually coming from the back, and Dog is good for 1. Classic is still a great gun if you can land those consistent headshots, but I don't think a second kill is going to follow through, and it does not. Ghosty and Saigo are, I mean, on fire, which is weird considering Sage is like the queen of ice, but, you know.
She could be the queen of anything in my eyes.
Oh, I see.
But as we jump into this Marquette, they've got money for a buy, but it's not even going to be a full one. We've got 2 on a light armor, and DePaul, they don't really care what they've got. They can make it work. They put this together in a cave with scraps, and DePaul University is going to come out with an Iron Man outfit. So we've got a little bit of util already flooding out, and it looks like all of the team is going to be stacked towards A here. And as Marquette tries to figure out what the play is, DePaul starts holding W just in time for Marquette to be caught off guard. See Blades here trying to find a peek in, unfortunately not able to even get 1 as Nisei just turns the corner with that Spectre. Ghosty going to be able to finish off 1 onto Stevo. It's now 5v3. Dog will be coming up here. Atsu and Crotify going to be going for the low angle right now. And all of DePaul is just holding steadfast, not letting a single member of their team falter, other than Jelly, who will drop out by this quick peek, but that just aids the information game here. Now Marquette has revealed where they're playing from. They know that both the Sage and the Viper are already inside. Ghosty and Min are going to clean it up. DePaul is bringing us ever closer to that beautiful 12-4 score line. It's now 11-4. One more until we get there, Ashcon.
Backs are against the wall right now. Pressure's on for Marquette to perform, and it just doesn't seem like they're in the position to do it. And with the force spy coming out, a couple of bulldogs in the hands of Dog and Blades, I think they're actually going to close this game out on themselves. Spending those credits when they don't have the room to do so. If they can't perform here and now, that's going to mean DePaul has a free pass into not just this round, but the next. They only have to deal with 2 rifles now, and then only 3 rifles later. And Ghosty drawing first blood as usual. The aggression, the Bulldog, one pays off, but another one is dropped to the ground. That means Marquette is just falling apart.
The Bulldog bullying from Dog. Love to see how that works out. And now as DePaul gets the plant yet again, Marquette's just down to 2. Atsu doesn't even have a chance to react here. Crotify takes out 1, but Nisei with the double is just going to finish it off, and DePaul brings us into match point. Marquette was so strong in those first 2 rounds, and off screen we just saw DePaul say, "Oh, hey, we're not live. We're gonna absolutely start taking off now."
I want to pause for a second and talk about I need that clip of Atsu in the very last frame there of the round to I need it. I just need the clip of it. He walks into sight, looks up, and he goes, "What's that Sage doing up there?" And then outswings Ghosty, I believe, or Nisei, and then just takes off their head, and Atsu is just done for. That I think it was a little bit of a comedic timing. I would love to see it. Anyways, back on to the game. We're seeing more of a default by DePaul. That shows a lot of respect, shows a lot of discipline for their approach. They realize they're in the lead, and they definitely want to close it out, but instead of getting ahead of themselves, they're going to play it wiser, and they've sort of conditioned Marquette to feel as if A will be the place to hit, and just like that, because of the way that they've conditioned the defense, DePaul is able to get a free plant. No shots fired in this round yet, just utility flying out. Nisei caught off on a bad timing in mid, but the Viper's pit has been deployed. So long as everyone plays inside of it, DePaul should be A-okay.
Crotify has a unique opportunity here. If Crotify can pick up 1 kill, they can Viper's Pit themselves onto the Viper's Pit, and we'll get the Viper's Pit within the Viper's Pit, which, honestly, it's not a bad strat, but we got to see Crotify pick up a kill to make that work at all here. Min is going to pick up a double as Ghosty takes out Blades. We're just down into the last fight here. It's just Crotify now, and as Crotify falls to Jelly's huddle of anything, it's the Viper huddle. We're going to be seeing DePaul bring us 13-4 on Icebox. Absolutely beautiful, and that is why the meta works. You don't play off meta on Icebox.
And that is the second 13-4 score line for today, Artie, if I'm not mistaken. Meaning some of these teams, I mean, we really are in a game of rock, paper, scissors, but there's 4 teams, so it's like rock, paper, scissors, and then like what's the last one?
Rock, paper, scissors, lizard, Spock. You never played it?
No. Spock? Lizard
Yeah.
Spock? Like this guy?
Yep.
Oh, interesting. All right. Well, you're gonna have to teach me that one off camera. And speaking of off camera, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be sliding on out. You're gonna go ahead and have to stay tuned because we got one more match to go.